Now I'm going to focus and to concentrate on the challenges stemming from the East. Russia is our largest neighbor, and it is an international power. We have seen a more assertive Russia, a Russia which is destabilizing the European security order. NATO does not seek confrontation, and we don't want a new Cold War. At the same time, our response has to be firm. So how do we square the circle? I strongly believe that the answer lies with both more defense and more dialogue. Pursued together, they can help us to achieve greater stability in Europe. And let me start with defense. Russia's actions in Ukraine have triggered a robust response from the international community, involving sanctions, suspension from G8, and increased support to our partners in the East. And NATO is undertaking the biggest reinforcement of our collective defense in decades, to send a powerful signal to deter any aggression or intimidation. Not to wage war, but to prevent war. And that is why deterrence is a key part of our overall strategy. Modern deterrence must deter today's threats, not yesterday's, whether they come from the East or from the South, from state or non-state actors, hybrid, conventional, or nuclear. Deterrence starts with resolve. It's not enough to feel it, you also have to show it. This week, NATO's defense ministers took important decisions in that respect. We agreed to enhance our forward presence in the eastern part of the alliance. This presence will be multinational, to make clear that an attack against one ally will not just be met by national forces, but by forces from across the alliance. It will be rotational and supported by a program of exercises, with the right infrastructure and pre-positioning of equipment to facilitate rapid reinforcement. In a very clear sign of allied solidarity, the United States has set out plans to significantly increase their military presence in Europe, with more troops, more exercises, and more pre-positioned equipment. At our summit in Warsaw in July, I expect we will decide to further strengthen the alliance defense and deterrence. Our deterrence also has a nuclear component. Russia's rhetoric, posture, and exercises of its nuclear forces are aimed at intimidating its neighbors, undermining trust and stability in Europe. For NATO, the circumstances in which any use of nuclear weapons might have to be contemplated are extremely remote. But no one should think that nuclear weapons can be used as part of a conventional conflict. It will change the nature of any conflict fundamentally. NATO has continued to reduce the number of nuclear weapons. We keep them safe, secure, and effective for deterrence and to preserve the peace, not for coercion or intimidation. Our policy on ballistic missile defense has also been clear all along. It's purely defensive, designed to defend our territory, our people, and our forces against threats from outside the Euro-Atlantic area. NATO's missile defense is neither designed nor directed against Russia. It does not and cannot undermine Russian strategic deterrence. Moreover, we have offered Russia cooperation on missile defense. We remain transparent as we continue to develop our program. In response to Russia's actions, we are significantly strengthening our defense and deterrence. Some are concerned that we are sleepwalking towards escalation with Russia. I understand those concerns, but I do not share them. We strive for a more constructive and more cooperative relationship with Russia. We see defense and dialogue as complementary. Dialogue has many dimensions. Russia is a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, and Russia played a constructive role in the Iran nuclear deal. Allies engage with Russia bilaterally and in multilateral organizations such as the OSCE. The NATO Russia Council is another important forum for dialogue with Russia. We need dialogue for a number of different reasons. It is important to promote strategic stability, to clearly communicate our intentions, our posture, and our expectations to Russia. Dialogue is important to increase transparency and predictability, and to reduce the risks of incidents and accidents. And if they do happen, it is important to avoid escalation between our forces. The downing of the Russian fighter plane over Turkey underlines how urgent this is. I believe we should update our mutual inspection regime and the reporting of our military exercises, including those held at short notice. We publish a schedule of allied exercises on our website. I invite Russia to do the same. And finally, dialogue is important for those issues where our differences run deep, like Ukraine, especially when times are as difficult as they are now. We have clear principles. Borders must not be violated. Sovereign nations have the right to chart their own course. These principles are fundamental for European security. It is essential that we engage with Russia. The NATO Russia Council is a good place to have a more substantive engagement. Yesterday, I met with Minister Lavrov, and we agreed to explore the possibilities for convening a meeting of the NATO Russia Council. Ladies and gentlemen, there can be no choice between defense and dialogue. To ensure long-term stability in Europe, we need both. And given the complex security environment we face today, I believe we need more defense and more dialogue. Political engagement does not mean a return to business as usual. We are in a new reality with Russia. But we do need a constructive dialogue. And that begins when we stop talking past each other and start talking with each other. Thank you.